Hi, welcome back to Johnson Branch Farm, and my name is Rachel. Today I am working out in the garden. The kids just ran up to Grandma's. It is the cutest thing. They are into right now making cob. And if you're not familiar with cob, basically it's more complicated than this, I'm sure, but you take clay, straw, ash, water, and you mix it up and make almost like a cement, and a lot of people build houses out of it. So they mixed up a bunch of cob the other day with Grandma, and they ran up to her house to go check on that. I can see them from where I'm at going up to Grandma's house. I know they make it there safe. We're not super far. I can hear them talking. That's how close they are from the garden site, which is one of the many blessings of having this farm and having grandparents close by, is that they get to grow up with the memories of running over to Grandma's house. So while they're up there doing that, I have a few things I want to get done here in the garden, and I also have a confession to make. I've been lying to you for the past 2 months. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. I've been calling this giant plant, well, it's multiple plants, Kajari melon, for the last, I don't know, however many months, since May. And I've been looking at the fruit that it's putting off, and you can see one right there. Let's see if I can get the... Oof, there's a hornet. Hornets have been out really bad lately. So there's one right there. You can see one right there. And I'm like, that does not look like these little melons that was on the seed packet. And what other people in different groups are posting. There's one right there. And so I took a picture, posted it in the group. What is this? This does not look like a Kajari melon. Maybe the seed company got something mixed up, whatever, no big deal. But what is it? And everyone's like, that's a pumpkin. And it came to my memory that I had planted pumpkins here, because I wanted half the trellis to be melons and half the trellis to be pumpkins. But I totally forgot, like my brain got fixated on the Kajari melon, and when in fact none of the Kajari melons are even growing over here. It's literally all pumpkins, and we have a lot of them. So lesson learned, I need to mark my plants better. So while I'm out here today, I'm gonna be taking down these cucumbers that are on these trellises. I planted another round over on that end of the garden just to give some rotation to all of this. We had a lot of rainstorms over the past few weeks, and it did a number on the cucumber plants. Everything else seems to have done fine, but the cucumber plants just did not like all of that rain, and I think they might have got like a powdery mildew, and with all the rain I wasn't able to stay on top of it, so I lost them. That's okay. We got a lot of cucumbers off of them, and nothing's a total loss in the garden, just like those Kajari melons. I'm actually kind of excited now, because I'm like, wow, we're gonna have pumpkin pies and different pumpkin things to cook with. So that's pretty exciting to me. That's something I get to now look up and learn and plan for. So it's not a loss. I may not have got melons, but I've got pumpkins. We still have food. But with the cucumbers, what I discovered was there's some varieties I did not like, and there was some varieties I really liked. So I love growing the little gherkin cucumbers. They're great for pickling. My kids love eating them whole over like a sliced up one. I mean, they'll eat it, but to them, having the little cucumber, they just really like that. So I'm going to focus more on that. In fact, I've already got an order going to order more of those before the rush hits next year. I also, the Chicago pickling didn't do that great. I had a muncher in there. They weren't that great. They were real, they had a lot of like bristles on them, so I did not like harvesting them. So my point is, I learned a lot. I learned what kind of varieties work well on my farm, what kind of varieties work well in my kitchen, and that's a whole balancing act. So nothing is ever wasted if you go into that open mindset. Also, I did plant another round of cucumbers, and I'll show you. I'm gonna go ahead and harvest them. And I'm actually kind of impressed with them. These are Market Moors, and I think I'm gonna harvest them. This is the size I was hoping they would get. They were not on my cucumber trellises. I had like a couple tomato plants in this spot that didn't fare well, and that was a bad idea. I should not have put cucumbers here. Again, lesson learned. In my brain, I thought, well, I'll just stick something and make a little thing. No, it's too crowded here, so I should not be doing that. That's okay. Again, another lesson learned. So I'm going to move at least one of those trellises to over in this other corner and grow some more cucumbers. So I have time. My first frost date isn't until like middle of October, so I have plenty of time to do another round of cucumbers, and it's going to be fine. The only thing is, next year I will push to do my cucumbers in the beginning because I can be canning those while the tomatoes aren't ready. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is to make sure you're timing things where you're not going to be super overwhelmed in the kitchen. Obviously, there's things you don't have control over. I didn't have control over my cucumbers dying and having to do another round. But ideally, in a perfect garden world, I would try to time certain things to be done staggered, so I'm not totally overwhelmed in the kitchen. Things like green beans go really quick, so you could do those in the beginning or do those in the end. I'm also happen to learn to time cilantro to be done and peppers to be when my tomatoes are ready, because I want to make salsa. Basil, peppers, tomatoes to be ready for sauce. So all the things to consider when you're gardening and thinking and trying to stay a step ahead. Even if you don't time it right, it's not lost. It's not wasted. If your cilantro doesn't get in with your salsa, it's not the end of the world. Find a farmer that grew it. One thing I did last year, which was so helpful, is, let me pick this cucumber so we can talk. 2 of them. That's exciting. One thing I did last year that was super helpful was any excess herbs I had that I didn't get a chance to dehydrate, I froze. So I had extra dill, and I'm really glad I didn't dehydrate that. Not that you can't use dehydrated dill in your pickles, you can. But I froze that dill, so when I made my first batch of pickles and my dill wasn't ready or my dill didn't germinate, I had dill that I could use. And you can buy it obviously from the store, but when you're making large quantities of something, that adds up a lot. So maybe something to think about if you have extra parsley and it's still in the garden and your tomatoes are all harvested. Freeze some, because next year your parsley might die, or you might need it, your tomatoes come in sooner than what you planned. Stick it in a tub in a freezer. Stick it in a freezer bag and freeze it. You can always thaw it out and give it to your chickens later on. I mean, I've done that too. So nothing's ever wasted. Nothing's ever an accident. Nothing's ever a mistake. There's always things to learn, and there's always new things to try when you're in the garden. My goodness, look at these cosmos. Wow. Like, seriously. these have to be right up here with the zinnias. Like, wow. Look at that. My husband and I both agree that we are going bigger with, oh, hi little guys. Don't sting me. We are going bigger with flowers next year because, like, look at that. I don't even think it does it justice. Like, man, these things are almost as tall as me, and they are just loaded with flowers and buds. How cool is that? Oh, you're back?
No, I just gotta tell you something. Did you have a snack?
Yes, you ran all the way down here to see if you could have a snack. You can have a snack at Grandma's. Oh, you're so sweet. I love you. Are you going to go back to Grandma's?
Yeah, I didn't have to feed the fish.
You didn't have to do that. I can do it.
But I want to.
Okay, go ahead then. Thank you. Sweet boy. He totally distracted me in the best way possible. Oh, so last year we were really focused on production and learning production and how can we maximize this space and get the most out of it so we can make a profit and still grow food for ourselves. And I missed a lot of the beauty. I missed a lot of the stopping and enjoying the flowers or even planting flowers. I did not, because those flowers took up space and I was not about to, you know, that's money. And I wasn't going to be a flower farmer. But yeah. Always plant something beautiful in the garden. It's totally, not that food's not beautiful. It is beautiful. But as far as like flowers and just that, I don't know, it just adds a whole nother level to the beauty of the garden. Check the squash. So my, oh, and I need to harvest some calendula. My squash, I grew yellow crooked neck squash, and last year terrible luck with squash. This year great luck with squash, great. But I grew these little patty pans and I love them. And I love giving them to people because it's different. I'll show you. This one's a little on the big side. But they're so cute, they're so good, and they're extremely prolific. So, again, with the same with the cucumber seeds, I'm already putting my order in for more of these guys because I used up the last of my seeds this year. And crooked neck yellow squash is going on the retired list. We won't be growing those here. We will have patty pan because these freeze well. I planted these guys back in May, June, July, so they're 2 months old and they have done awesome. No powdery mildew. They're growing great. They're producing like crazy. So patty pan will definitely be on the list of making it back with the gherkin cucumbers. Here's a yellow crooked neck squash, and these were planted the same time as the patty pan. I think I've gotten a total of 3, maybe 4 of these in the amount of time that I've gotten buckets load of patty pans. So that's a good sized one. Telling you, you go a day and you just miss them. Okay, so all the cucumbers are gone, and I did interplant some beans here, so I've got some purple beans that are on their way out, and some green bush beans. But these are called, these right here are called cow peas, which are really like black-eyed peas. And so I was looking it up last night. What'll happen is these will turn brown, they'll die off, and that's how you know they're ready for storage. You can eat them right now like this, like a green bean, but I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna leave this trellis here because these are climbing up it really nicely. And I also have a cucamelon plant over here that's just kind of struggling because I think it was getting choked out by the cucumbers. So I'm gonna leave that there. And then I've been kind of just plopping lettuce all over the garden too. So we've got a steady run of lettuce. So that one's gonna stay. I don't know what I'm gonna do about this one because it's got cucamelons growing up it as well. Right here. This is the problem with just winging it and just plunking in seeds. So have to reevaluate that. I might take this one down and put it over there. We'll see. All right. This is the potato patch, which is looking a little sad. We've got lots of overgrown grass here, but the potatoes are dead, which means the tops have completely died back. And when we start,
I'm gonna pull it.
go ahead, try it, but I don't think you're gonna like, yeah. Digging. That's a good one. We'll start getting potatoes.
How many more?
And just enough for
Dinner.
yeah, French fries. So we didn't really hill these. We hilled them one time. We could still cook it, but we didn't go crazy. Ooh,
Ooh, that's a nice one.
good job, bud.
Thanks.
All right, we got what I'm thinking. We'll have enough potatoes for dinner tonight, and we'll use the little ones for breakfast in the morning.
Ooh.
So that's this is our potato patch. I did a whole video on us planting and why we chose to plant it here. It's not on our property, it's on my in-laws' property. But yeah, I'll link that video so you can see the whole potato process. Yep, I'll grab it.
I'll get it.
And now that the tops are dead, we have an attachment we could put on the tractor, and Aaron can just drive it and dig up the potatoes. So that's pretty fun. Anyway, I am exhausted. One thing always leads to another when you're out in the garden, and before you know it, you're now pruning and tying up 60 tomato plants. So that's what I was doing. Got a little hot, so we decided to call it quits for the day, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go home and chill. So thank you for watching. Thank you for following along. May the Lord bless and keep you. Until next time.